What if I told you there was a hidden team of heroes, one that has been working in the shadows, quietly shaping the fate of the universe, without anyone ever knowing? No! This is another Avengers team-up, nor is it some distant version of Earth's mightiest heroes. This is the Secret Avengers, a group so secretive and powerful that they were never meant to be discovered. And now, the truth is about to come out. But by the time you learn who they really are, it may already be too late. You're probably asking yourself, why haven't we heard of them before? What's the real cost of hiding these heroes for so long? Stay with me, because the answer to those questions will shake the foundation of everything you thought you knew. You're about to discover what they've been hiding, and trust me, the world will never be the same again. Imagine a world where certain events in history, wars, and battles have always seemed just a little too perfectly orchestrated, where some key victory seemed almost designed. What if those were not coincidences, but rather the work of a covert team working behind the scenes to ensure everything goes according to plan? These aren't the heroes you know. They aren't the ones who get the recognition, the headlines, or even the thanks. They've lived in secrecy, working under the radar for the greater good. You've heard about the Avengers and their exploits, but what if there was an even more powerful force keeping the worst from happening? An even darker, more dangerous, and unyielding team? It's a mystery that's been hidden in plain sight, and now it's about to unravel. But the question is, are you ready for the truth? I want you to think about the state of the world as it is now. It's chaotic, unpredictable, and filled with threats that could tear the very fabric of reality apart. You've seen the heroes who step up to fight, but there's always been this underlying feeling that something is missing, that someone is missing. What if the reason for this chaos is that those who should have been fighting in the open have stayed hidden for too long? What if we've been living with the consequences of their absence, and now, just as everything seems to be spiraling out of control, the truth is about to hit? The secret team has been silently watching, quietly preparing for a time when they would have to step in. That time is now, and the implications are terrifying. Now, I know you're probably wondering what exactly the Secret Avengers are, who they are, and why they've stayed out of the spotlight. It's a valid question, one that I promise will be answered by the end of this journey. But before we get there, let's talk about what it means for a group to remain in the shadows, especially when the world seems to be on the brink of destruction. Imagine being one of these heroes. You have the power to change the world, to save it from inevitable doom, but you're forced to hide, to live in the dark, unable to reveal your true selves. Would you take the risk of stepping out into the light, knowing that the consequences could be devastating, not just for you, but for everyone you've sworn to protect? What if exposing the truth means losing everything you fought for? This is the heart of the mystery we're about to explore. This is the risk these secret Avengers face, and it's why the world may be too far gone by the time they're finally revealed. As we dive deeper into this mystery, I'm going to ask you to keep an open mind. You may think you know everything there is to know about the heroes we've seen before, the Iron Mans, the Black Widows, the Captain Americas. But those stories are just the surface. The deeper you go, the more layers you uncover. But here's the catch. Every time you think you've discovered something, you realize there's something more. Something even more dangerous, more unpredictable, and more powerful than you could have imagined. As we pull back the curtain on these hidden Avengers, we begin to see the cracks in the world that have been forming for years, waiting for the right moment to break wide open. And when that moment comes, you'll understand why it may already be too late for any of us to turn back. You've come this far, and I'm going to make sure you get the answers you're seeking. The truth, once revealed, will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the world's greatest heroes and the forces that have shaped our reality. But the real shock comes when you learn why they've been forced to hide in the first place. You'll see the devastating cost of keeping their secrets hidden. And the final reveal? Well, that's something that could change everything. But first, we have to peel back the layers of secrecy, one by one. Each piece of the puzzle will get you closer to the truth. And as we uncover these secrets, you'll begin to understand why this story is unlike anything you've seen before. So, stick with me. Keep watching, because the answers you've been looking for are just around the corner. But remember, sometimes the truth isn't what we expect, and the consequences of that truth might just be too much to handle. And as the shadows begin to part, the real question will be, can we handle what's coming next? Or is it already too late for us all? Stay tuned, because what about unfold will leave you speechless. You're not just watching a story unfold. You're about to witness the unraveling of the world's most dangerous secret. Got it? I'll continue the next prompts, 2 to 10, for this story, keeping the content consistent in style and flow. I will start with prompt 2. Here's a continuation. The world had been spiraling into chaos, and what the world needed most was a hero. We had always believed the Avengers were the ones we could rely on, those iconic figures who had saved us time and time again. But as the crises piled up, something was different this time. Even the Avengers, it seemed, were struggling to maintain order. They were overwhelmed. That's when whispers of a hidden team began to surface. At first, it seemed like a myth, something whispered in secret halls and behind closed doors. The Secret Avengers, they were called, a group of individuals whose very existence had been erased from all records, hidden away from the world's gaze. But as the threat to Earth grew darker and more sinister, these whispers began to grow louder, and they couldn't be ignored. In the depths of shadows, in places even the most powerful of Avengers feared to tread, these heroes operated. They were trained, they were powerful, and they were far beyond what anyone could have imagined. But why had they stayed hidden? What were they protecting? And what were they trying to prevent from happening? For years, the world had been oblivious to their existence, unaware of the lengths they went to ensure that the greatest threats never saw the light of day. They were always one step ahead of the chaos. But now, it seemed like the time had come for the truth to come to light. And yet, as the Secret Avengers started to reveal themselves, something was terribly wrong. They weren't the saviors the world had hoped for. They were something far more dangerous, and the consequences of their actions may already be too great to reverse. You, like many, probably never even knew they existed. Until now. Their secrets have been buried for a reason, and now you're about to find out why. But beware, the more you learn, the less you'll understand. These aren't the heroes you thought you knew. There's something entirely different. Keep watching, because soon you'll begin to realize just how deep this mystery goes. And when the answers come, they may shatter everything you thought was true about the world you live in. As the shadow of a growing, unspeakable force looms over the world, the first of the Secret Avengers steps forward. Their presence is striking, but it is their actions, not their appearance, that send ripples of unease through everyone who's ever trusted in heroes. There's something unsettling about them, something not quite right. They aren't like the heroes we've seen before. They don't have that same hopeful spark that lit up the skies when the Avengers first assembled. Instead, they carry with them a cold, calculated aura, one that suggests they've seen too much and done too much in the name of protecting the world. But at what cost? Their story begins in the shadows of their past, a past filled with betrayals, secrets, and sacrifices that even the world's most powerful heroes can't comprehend. But the deeper you dig into their history, the more questions begin to surface. Who trained them? Where did they come from? And most importantly, why didn't they ever make their presence known until now? The answers seem to shift with every turn, and each revelation only leads to more confusion. Some say they were once Avengers themselves, cast aside for reasons never fully explained. Others believe they were part of a government experiment gone terribly wrong, creating a new breed of hero whose loyalty lies with no one but themselves. As the pieces of the puzzle start to fall into place, a haunting realization creeps in. The Secret Avengers may not be the saviors we hope for. They could be the ones responsible for unleashing the chaos that will destroy us all. These heroes of shadow are starting to show a pattern in their actions. They're not simply fighting against evil forces. They are reshaping the world as we know it, pulling the strings behind the scenes, and erasing anyone who dares to stand in their way. With each covert mission they undertake, their influence grows stronger, but so does the fear that something terrible is brewing underneath. The key to understanding their motivations lies in their fractured history, one they work tirelessly to conceal. One thing becomes clear, though: they are no ordinary heroes. They don't follow the rules that were set by the Avengers, rules about accountability, transparency, and the trust that the world places in them. The more we uncover about them, the more we begin to understand how dangerous they truly are. They have mastered the art of deception, operating from the shadows, never leaving a trail that can be followed. They are untouchable, and that makes them the perfect storm. It's almost as if they've been playing a long game, perhaps since the very beginning. But what game is it? Is their sudden return a sign that they've learned from their past mistakes? Or are they about to unleash a new wave of destruction, a wave that will be impossible to stop? Some even claim that the actions of the Secret Avengers have been orchestrated for a larger purpose, one that no one can yet understand. Their motives are unclear, but one thing is certain. They are not acting in the world's best interests. They have a far more insidious goal in mind, and the longer we ignore their movements, the more power they gain. As we dig deeper into their shadowy activities, it becomes evident that they are more than just a threat. They are a force that has been quietly changing the course of history. Could it be that their agenda is far more dangerous than we could ever have imagined? Have they been operating outside the boundaries of what we thought was possible, taking steps to reshape the global balance of power? The world is about to find out just how far they're willing to go to achieve their mysterious goal. But here's the terrifying twist. There's still so much we don't know. With each new discovery, we uncover another layer of deception, another piece of the puzzle that leads us deeper into uncertainty. Every question we answer only spawns two more. What if they're not just rewriting history? What if they've already set their sights on the future? What if everything we think we know about the Secret Avengers is part of a much bigger plan? A plan that will change everything as we know it. The truth is, the world is teetering on the edge of a precipice, and it's only a matter of time before the Secret Avengers reveal their true intentions. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, or it could be years before the full scope of their plot is unveiled. But what we do know is this. When the world finally realizes who the Secret Avengers really are, it will be too late to stop them. The damage will already have been done, and the world will never be the same again. As the clock ticks down, we're left with one question. How much longer can we ignore what's been hiding in the shadows? How much longer will it take before the Secret Avengers reveal themselves for who they truly are? We might think we have time, but the reality is much darker. The lines between hero and villain have already begun to blur, and as we dig deeper, we realize that the answers we've been searching for may never come. The clock is ticking, and soon the world will understand the cost of allowing the Secret Avengers to stay hidden for so long. The world's fate now hangs in the balance as the Secret Avengers continue their covert operations, leaving behind a trail of destruction that cannot be ignored any longer. What began as whispers and rumors has now erupted into a full-blown crisis, and no one is safe. Not even the most powerful heroes in the world seem equipped to handle the threat that is growing with each passing moment. In their wake, the Secret Avengers have left an unsettling void, a silence that speaks louder than any words could. They are no longer the hidden force. They are the storm on the horizon, and they are closing in on the world's most powerful institutions. As the mysteries surrounding their actions unfold, we begin to see the true cost of the secrets they've kept buried for so long. Behind every move they make, every mission they complete, there's an eerie sense of purpose. They are playing a game that none of us were meant to understand. And the more we try to unravel the mystery, the more we realize how deep the conspiracy goes. They don't just threaten the stability of the world. They have the power to rewrite history itself. Every action they take, every decision they make, alters the course of everything we thought we knew. The truth is far more terrifying than we could have ever imagined. These Avengers are not who we thought they were. They are not the shining symbols of hope, nor are they the heroes we believed them to be. They are something else entirely. The more we learn, the more we realize that they have been living in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. But by the time they do, it will be too late to stop them. The heroes we've trusted with our safety for so long are no longer the ones calling the shots. The power they once had has been seized by a select few, those who have been operating in the shadows, unseen and unheard, for far longer than anyone could have anticipated. The Secret Avengers are not just a threat to the heroes we know and love. They are a threat to the very foundation of everything we've come to believe in. They have the knowledge, the resources, and the ruthlessness to topple even the mightiest of forces. They've spent years building their network, hiding their true intentions behind a veil of secrecy and lies. And now that the truth is beginning to surface, it's clear that they will stop at nothing to achieve their goals. But what are those goals? What do they want? And why have they remained hidden for so long? These are the questions that have haunted the minds of every hero, every leader, every person who has ever relied on the Avengers to keep the world safe. And with each new piece of information, the answers seem to slip further out of reach. It's almost as if the more we try to understand their purpose, the more the pieces shift, refusing to align in any way that makes sense. The true nature of the secret Avengers' plans remains a mystery, but one thing is certain. They are playing a long game, and they have already set their sights on the future. The question is no longer whether or not they will succeed. It's whether or not we'll be able to stop them before it's too late. The world is on the brink of collapse, and the clock is ticking. Each move they make brings us closer to a reality that we might not be able to survive. In the end, the question isn't whether we will defeat the secret Avengers. It's whether we will even recognize the world we once knew when it's over. If the last few weeks have taught us anything, it's that nothing is as it seems. The heroes we relied on have turned their backs on us, and the ones who remain hidden in the shadows have shown that they will do whatever it takes to achieve their ultimate goal. The world may never be the same again, and we may never be able to undo the damage they have caused. But even as the shadows grow darker, there is still hope. Hope that somewhere, someone will rise up to confront the threat of the secret Avengers. Hope that the world can still be saved. But that hope is quickly fading. The secret Avengers are closing in, and they are ready to make their final move. What will happen when they finally reveal their true power? And will the world be able to survive the chaos that follows? As the tension continues to build, we are left with a terrifying question. How long can the world hold on before the secret is fully exposed? And when that day comes, will it already be too late to do anything about it? The countdown to the end has begun, and there's no turning back now. The arrival of the secret Avengers, hidden in plain sight for so long, has thrown everything into chaos. The heroes we trusted with our safety and future are now the ones we must fear. The truth is far more disturbing than we could have ever imagined. These are not mere rogue agents. They are a force that has been waiting patiently for the right time to act. They have been manipulating events from the shadows, influencing decisions, and carefully orchestrating outcomes. Now that their presence is revealed, the world is left scrambling, trying to make sense of it all. But with each new revelation, it becomes clearer that the real question isn't what the secret Avengers want. It's whether anyone can stop them. Their power is undeniable. With access to unimaginable resources, unparalleled intelligence, and the ability to infiltrate the very heart of governments and organizations, the secret Avengers are in a league of their own. No one is safe from their reach. The lines between ally and enemy have blurred to the point where trust is a luxury that no one can afford. They have been operating for years under the radar, unnoticed by the very heroes who should have been on the lookout. Now that the veil has been lifted, the stakes have never been higher. They are not just pulling strings behind the scenes. They are pulling the entire world towards a new reality, one where they are the ones in control. The question remains, why now? What has triggered this revelation? What made the secret Avengers decide that the time had come to reveal themselves, to expose their existence to the world? The answer lies in a carefully calculated plan, one that was set in motion long before we even realized there was a threat. The secret Avengers have been manipulating global events for years, setting the stage for this very moment. They waited for the world to reach the brink, and now that we are teetering on the edge, they've made their move. What happens next will define the future of this world. The secret they've been keeping isn't just a secret about their existence. It's a secret about the true power they possess. They have been hiding in plain sight, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. That opportunity has arrived. The world is on the brink of a new era, one that will be shaped by the decisions of the secret Avengers. Their true agenda remains shrouded in mystery, but it's clear that whatever it is, it will have devastating consequences. As the story unfolds, we are forced to confront a terrifying reality. The world we thought we knew is no longer the one we inhabit. The Avengers we relied on to protect us are no longer the same. The ones who have been silently working behind the scenes have finally revealed their cards, and they are not playing by the rules. Their ultimate plan is still unclear, but the signs are undeniable. They are a force to be reckoned with, and they are determined to reshape the world according to their vision. But even as the tide shifts and the world begins to unravel, there are still those who resist. The remaining heroes, those who have not fallen under the sway of the secret Avengers, are left to pick up the pieces. But they are few in number and are faced with a task that may be impossible. stopping the secret Avengers before it's too late. Their mission is clear: stop the hidden force before it is able to seize control and destroy everything they fought for. But with every passing day, the battle becomes more hopeless. As the conflict intensifies, we are left with a burning question. Can anyone survive this war? The secret Avengers have the upper hand, and they are not afraid to use their power to crush anyone who stands in their way. The remaining heroes must dig deep, unearthing their last reserves of strength and courage if they hope to stop what's coming. But can they do it in time? Or is the world already doomed to fall under the control of the secret Avengers? In the face of overwhelming odds, the heroes are left with no choice but to confront the truth head-on. They are up against an enemy unlike any they've ever faced before, an enemy that operates in the shadows, unseen and unnoticed until it's too late. The secret Avengers are not just another threat. They are a force capable of rewriting the rules of the game entirely. And with every passing moment, their grip on the world grows tighter. As we reach the turning point in this story, one thing becomes abundantly clear. There is no turning back. The truth has been exposed, and there is no longer any place for hiding. The heroes are at war with an enemy that is far more dangerous than anything they've ever encountered. The question isn't just about survival. It's about how much of the world can be saved from the coming devastation. In the end, it will be a battle for the very soul of the world. The secret Avengers have shown us what they are capable of, and it's clear that they will stop at nothing to achieve their ultimate goal. But as the stakes continue to rise, we are left to wonder, can the remaining heroes band together to fight back? Or will the world fall into darkness at the hands of those we once thought of as protectors? As the world watches in shock, the full extent of the secret Avengers' power begins to emerge. The once venerated heroes we thought we knew are now nothing more than puppets in a game controlled by those who were never meant to be seen. It is as though the very foundations of our reality have been ripped apart, leaving us to face the terrifying unknown. How could we have missed this? How could we have allowed them to operate in the shadows for so long, right under our noses? The moment the world learned of the secret Avengers' existence, everything changed. The idea that the world's greatest heroes were nothing more than a facade, hiding their true intentions, is enough to send anyone into a spiral of doubt and fear. But what is more terrifying is the realization that these hidden Avengers didn't just appear out of nowhere. They've been embedded within the very fabric of society, pulling the strings for years. Every conflict, every global shift, every political upheaval, it all leads back to them. They have been the architects of this new world order, crafting a vision so far beyond our comprehension that we are left struggling to understand what has really been happening all this time. Yet, as unsettling as it is to realize that the secret Avengers have been lurking in the background, even more unsettling is the fact that we don't know the full extent of their plans. We are left with a puzzle, each piece more troubling than the last. What do they want? What is their endgame? These questions linger in the air unanswered as the world spins out of control. For every answer we uncover, more questions arise, each more complex and horrifying than the last. One thing is clear. The secret Avengers have been waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves, and that moment has come. Their power is vast, and their influence reaches further than we ever imagined. They have the resources, the technology, and the allies to carry out whatever they have planned, and no one, no matter how powerful, can stand in their way. Even the greatest heroes, those who have fought beside us to protect this world, are now questioning their place in a reality where the lines between good and evil are no longer clear. But there is hope. There are still those who refuse to accept this new world order. The remaining heroes who have not fallen under the sway of the secret Avengers are rallying, but they are outnumbered and outgunned. It is a fight that seems impossible to win. With every passing moment, the world edges closer to a future dominated by a force that has remained hidden for so long. But there are still those who believe that they can stop it. This is a fight unlike anything the world has ever seen. The heroes who are left standing must confront the true nature of the enemy they are facing, and they must do so quickly before the world is lost forever. They are no longer fighting for victory. They are fighting for survival. The secret Avengers are not just trying to change the world. They are trying to take it. And with every move they make, the chance of stopping them grows slimmer. As the heroes prepare for the final confrontation, They must come to terms with the fact that the world they thought they knew no longer exists. The stakes have never been higher. The battle that awaits is not just about defeating the enemy. It is about reclaiming the world from the hands of those who have been manipulating it from the shadows. The fate of everything we know rests in the balance. Every decision, every move will determine the future of humanity. But as the final battle looms, a new question arises. Can the remaining heroes overcome the insurmountable odds stacked against them? Or will the secret Avengers' vision for a new world be realized, forever altering the course of history? The fight for the future of the world is about to reach its climax, and no one knows how it will end. As the secret Avengers prepare to make their final move, the remaining heroes must gather everything they have left. They know the stakes, and they know that time is running out. The question isn't just about winning. It's about survival. Can they defeat the enemy before it's too late? Or will the secret Avengers' reign begin, and will this world as we know it be lost forever? The answers are coming, but they might be more devastating than we could ever imagine. Stay tuned, because the most important battle of all is about to begin. The world has been living a lie. For years, the secret existence of the secret Avengers has remained hidden, buried beneath layers of deception and illusion. What the world saw as a heroic alliance of Earth's mightiest heroes was, in truth, a carefully crafted facade. Behind the scenes, a different force has been shaping the course of history, one with far darker motives than anyone could have anticipated. The Avengers we thought we knew are not who we thought they were, and everything we believe about them is now in question. It's difficult to wrap our minds around the fact that these heroes, these symbols of hope and justice, were operating in the shadows all along. They were not fighting for the greater good. They weren't working to protect the world from evil. Instead, they were manipulating events to fit a much more sinister plan, one that has been slowly unfolding for years. And now, the truth is finally out. The moment of revelation has come, and the world is reeling from the shock waves. The greatest minds in the world are scrambling to understand the full scope of what's happening. How did we miss the signs? How could we have allowed this to happen right under our noses? The truth is that it was easy to ignore. We saw what we wanted to see, and we believed what we were told. The idea that the secret Avengers had been orchestrating events all along seemed too far-fetched to consider. But now, the pieces are all falling into place, and it's clear that everything we thought we knew was just an illusion. What's worse is that the truth is even more frightening than we could have imagined. These secret Avengers have not just been pulling the strings. They've been quietly preparing for a moment like this, a moment when they could step out of the shadows and reveal themselves in full force. The timing is deliberate. The world is at its most vulnerable, and the moment they've been waiting for has finally arrived. The question is no longer whether we can stop them, it's whether we can even survive them. The ramifications of this revelation are staggering. We are forced to confront the possibility that the very people we trusted to protect us might not have been our protectors at all. Instead, they've been the ones who set everything in motion, manipulating the course of events for their own purposes. What does this mean for the future of the world? How do we rebuild after such a massive betrayal? For those who have fought alongside the Avengers, the truth is a bitter pill to swallow. The heroes who once stood united now find themselves questioning everything they fought for. Were their victories truly their own, or were they simply part of a grander design? And for the remaining heroes who stand against the secret Avengers, the weight of this knowledge is even more crushing. How can they fight against an enemy that has been hiding in plain sight for so long, using tactics and strategies they never could have predicted? There's no going back now. The secret is out, and the world will never be the same. The stakes have never been higher. Every hero who remains must now decide whether to accept the reality of what's happened and fight back, or bow to the overwhelming power of the secret Avengers. The conflict is no longer just about saving the world. It's about redefining what it means to be a hero in a world that's been fundamentally altered. And even as the remaining heroes gather their forces to mount a resistance, there are still many unanswered questions. What is the true purpose of the secret Avengers plan? What do they want? And what are they willing to do to achieve it? These questions weigh heavily on the minds of everyone involved, and yet no one has the answers. Every move the secret Avengers make brings them closer to their goal, and each passing moment feels like a countdown to an uncertain and terrifying future. As the tension builds, it becomes clear that there is no easy solution to this crisis. The remaining heroes are outnumbered, outgunned, and faced with an enemy who has been operating in the shadows for far longer than they ever realized. The world's fate rests in their hands, but the odds of success seem slimmer with every passing day. It's a race against time, and there's no telling how it will end. Will the remaining heroes be able to unite against this overwhelming threat, or will the secret Avengers succeed in their dark vision for the future? As the world holds its breath, the final battle approaches. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the fate of everything we know hangs in the balance. The next chapter in this war will determine the future of humanity. And as the clock ticks down, we can only wonder, will we survive what's coming next, or will the secret Avengers' reign begin, marking the end of the world we once knew? The answers are coming, but they might be too devastating to bear. Stay tuned, because the most important battle for the future of the world is about to begin. The world is on the brink of something it may never recover from. As the dark secrets of the secret Avengers continue to surface, humanity is left with one burning question. Can the remaining heroes stop what's been set in motion? They are now faced with an enemy that knows everything about them, an enemy that has been lurking in the shadows for far too long. Every move they make is carefully calculated, and the power they wield is unlike anything the world has ever seen. The tension in the air is palpable as the remaining heroes rally together, preparing for a confrontation that could change everything. But the question lingers in the back of everyone's mind. Are they ready for what's coming? The secret Avengers have been planning this moment for years, and they've made sure to cover every possible angle. They've been orchestrating events behind the scenes, pulling strings and manipulating people, all for the sake of a singular, terrifying goal. The world was never meant to know what's really been happening. But now, the truth is out, and it's impossible to ignore. The heroes who have fought so hard for justice now find themselves in an impossible position. They've always fought for what's right, but the lines between right and wrong have never been so blurred. The secret Avengers are not the villains they expected. They are far more complex, more powerful, and more dangerous than anyone could have imagined. They have a vision for the world that is as ruthless as it is strategic, and they won't stop until it's realized. As the remaining heroes prepare to face off against this new and terrifying threat, they begin to question everything they've ever believed. Were they wrong to trust the Avengers? Were they wrong to fight for a system that may have been fundamentally flawed all along? These are the questions that weigh heavily on their minds as they try to prepare for what lies ahead. They have to ask themselves, can they trust their own instincts, or are they too far gone to fight back? In the midst of this chaos, a plan begins to form. The remaining heroes know they can't take on the secret Avengers head-to-head, not in their current state. They need to outsmart them, to find a way to turn the tide in their favor. But how do you fight an enemy that's already 2 steps ahead? How do you defeat an opponent who knows your every move before you make it? It's a race against time, and the stakes have never been higher. The remaining heroes know that if they fail, the world will fall into the hands of the secret Avengers. The consequences are too dire to ignore. If the secret Avengers succeed in their plan, it could mean the end of everything they worked so hard to protect. As the heroes prepare for the final showdown, they realize that they're no longer fighting just for their own survival. They're fighting for the survival of humanity itself. The future of the world depends on them, and they can't afford to make any mistakes. Every decision, every move they make, could tip the scales in one direction or another. The pressure is immense, but there's no turning back now. They must go forward, no matter the cost. The world watches as the stage is set for the ultimate battle. The remaining heroes know that this is their last chance to stop the secret Avengers, and they won't back down without a fight. But even as they prepare for war, a chilling thought creeps into their minds. What if they're too late? What if the secret Avengers have already won, and the world has already fallen into their hands? The stakes have never been higher, and the future is more uncertain than ever. As the final confrontation draws near, the heroes are faced with their greatest challenge yet. Will they succeed in stopping the secret Avengers, or will they be swallowed up by the darkness that's been growing all around them? The countdown has begun, and the fate of the world rests in the hands of the few remaining heroes who are about to face the ultimate test of their strength, resolve, and morality. As they prepare for the confrontation with the secret Avengers, every strategy, every alliance, and every decision is scrutinized with terrifying urgency. The clock is ticking, and the battle that looms on the horizon may very well determine the future of not just their world, but every reality that exists. What started as a few whispers in the shadows has now grown into a full-scale crisis. The secret Avengers have been operating under the radar, unnoticed and underestimated by the world for far too long. With each passing day, they've grown more powerful, more calculating, and more dangerous. No one saw this coming. Not the heroes, not the world. The once mighty Avengers, those who stood for justice, are now facing a new breed of warriors, shrouded in secrecy and armed with knowledge no one could have predicted. But what's worse is that the remaining heroes have now been forced to confront their own flaws and mistakes. They have to ask themselves, how did they miss the signs? How did they let this happen? Could they have done something sooner? The weight of these questions is heavy, and they know that the time for second-guessing is over. They have no choice but to move forward, to fight with everything they have, even if it means risking it all. In this critical moment, the remaining heroes must come together, putting aside their differences and focusing on the greater good. They can no longer afford to be fractured, to let their egos or personal vendettas get in the way. The secret Avengers are united in their cause, and the only way to stand a chance against them is for the heroes to unite in theirs. But even unity comes with its own set of risks and uncertainties. Can they truly trust each other? Can they lay aside their past grievances and work together to defeat a force that seems unstoppable? As the tension builds, the stakes couldn't be higher. The secret Avengers have already begun making their move, and it's clear that they won't stop until they've achieved their goal. No longer content with staying in the shadows, they are ready to step into the light and take control. The heroes' only option is to engage in a battle that will push them to their limits, physically, mentally, and emotionally. They are about to fight for a future that may no longer be theirs to protect. And yet, even as the heroes prepare for war, a dark realization begins to dawn on them. The secret Avengers are not just their enemies. They are their reflections, a mirror image of everything they fear becoming. These are not just faceless villains. They are the heroes that could have been, the ones who made different choices, embraced darker paths. They are the result of all the what-ifs and could-have-beens that the remaining heroes have lived with. This realization shakes them to their core, for it forces them to confront the unsettling truth that the line between good and evil is not as clear as they once believed. As the final confrontation nears, the remaining heroes are faced with an uncomfortable truth. They cannot simply defeat the secret Avengers in the traditional sense. It's not just about power or strength. It's about overcoming their own inner demons, their doubts, and the fear of what they might become if they fail. The secret Avengers may not just be a physical threat. They could be the very thing that shatters the remaining heroes' identities, their convictions, and their sense of purpose. The greatest battle, it seems, is not against an external enemy, but against themselves. The heroes find themselves at a crossroads. The lines between hero and villain blur, and the world they've fought to protect now seems like a distant dream. Everything they've known is about to change, and there's no turning back. They have no choice but to keep moving forward, even if they don't know where that path will lead. Every decision they make, every alliance they form, and every action they take will either bring them closer to victory or seal their doom. The stage is set, and the players are ready. The final showdown between the remaining heroes and the secret Avengers is imminent. As the two sides prepare to clash, the weight of the world presses down on them. There is no room for error, no time for hesitation. The outcome of this battle will determine not just their survival, but the very future of humanity itself. But as they stand on the precipice of what could be the end, they are left with one lingering question. Is it already too late to stop what's coming? The countdown continues, and with each passing second, the world inches closer to its fate. The hero's final choice looms large, and the consequences of their actions could be far more devastating than they ever imagined. The stage is set for a battle that will echo through time itself. The question is, will they be able to stop the secret Avengers in time, or will they be forced to face the consequences of their failure?